It's called Café Anyway. Wow, what a place.
Mike's Daily Podcast.
Just want to let you know, for those of you listening at the beginning of the podcast, I've got 1 million fans. I mean, fans going on here.
Mike's Daily Podcast.
At Café Anyway. Fans turned on because of the heat to cool us down because it's really hot. Today, it's Mike Matthews, and that's something I probably should say because I'm the host of the show that I do that's called Mike's Daily Podcast. It's named after a guy named Mike, and I've done so many podcasts that you might like. 3,343 is the amount.
Mike's Daily Podcast.
Of episodes that I've done. 3,343.
Mike's
is that right?
Daily
3,334.
Podcast.
Wait, 3,343.
Yeah!
All right, that's enough of that. If you don't know what the number is, I think if you go to my website now, mikesdailypodcast.com, or shortly thereafter, it should be up. But if you want to see video of the podcast, because I know everybody's thinking that podcasts are videos these days, well, you can go to mikesdailypodcast.com, and I will have a video up that's up for like a day that I put on Twitch. Then I have a link at mikesdailypodcast.com. Just click on where it says, see the video of this show here. And actually, what I've been doing is this little radio show. Well, I don't talk on it at all, but I play music on there, and I'm playing it live, and then it stays up there for about a week, at which time it gets deleted, it's gone. But just after I post it, just after I've gone live, Twitch immediately gets on there and deletes all of the songs that are copywritten. And I'm amazed by the songs that are not copywritten. I thought every song had a copyright. Is it copyrighted? Copywritten? Anyway, some of them, I guess they have a little more leeway. You can use them a little bit more, but whatever. You can find that.
And here's today's podcast picture.
If you go through the link at mikesdailypodcast.com, but you got to scroll down and look and search and look through it and try and find the thing that says, see the video of the podcast here. But the podcast picture, which you can also see at mikesdailypodcast.com, is of this very bizarre sculpture that is in San Francisco now. It's called the Corpus sculpture. It's just called Corpus. And it looks kind of like a crab, kind of like an alien from another world, but like a Jules Verne alien, kind of like a War of the Worlds. I couldn't remember the name of that movie Steven Spielberg did, but sort of like that with the long tentacles and everything. The late great Basil the Boxer and I never walked in this part of the Embarcadero where you can see this sculpture. It remains today. He and I never really walked downtown. I think in San Francisco, the closest we got to the city, well, we were at Crissy Fields and walking around near Fort Mason, and we did that walk. That was a nice day in Palace of Fine Arts. Great day. I missed that dog. And I have podcast pictures of him too at mikesdailypodcast.com. Someday I'll get a dog again. But right now it's cats. Crazy cats. Rocky the cat and Patches the cat. And I got pictures of them as well if you go to the website. Yes, we love our pets. I hope we love our pets. If we don't, then if you don't love your pet, I have a problem with you. You should love your pet.
Mike Matthews is going to come in with more encouragement for you.
That's my encouragement for you. And if you shouldn't probably have a pet if you don't love them, but they will bring you so much joy. Also, what brings me joy are free samples at Costco. Costco pulls in, by the way, they pull in roughly $77 million per year in pure revenue just from the flat fees that they charge vendors to set up sample booths. What? You mean those people giving out the samples don't actually work for Costco? They're being paid? No, those vendors are paying Costco. It's the other way around. You see there. Costco charges $35 per day. Wow. What? Is that right? That number seems wrong. With an average of 10 sampling stations per store, Costco pulls in roughly $210,000 every single day. There's something wrong with the numbers here. It might be $350 or more. But they charge, at any rate, for the sampling stations. Now, Levi's, meanwhile, they have their designer jeans, the Blue Tab jeans, selling for nearly $300 a pair. And their luxury denim sales jumped 40% in the months between...
Oh, you almost had it.
Those months.
You gotta be quicker than that.
April to June was the one I was trying to think of. It jumped 40%. People are into the premium jeans. It's become a $200 million plus business for the company. In retail, selling fewer high-end products can often be more profitable than selling a lot of low-priced ones. We heard that statistic recently on a previous episode. Now, Madonna has live video events for... Remember she did that Confessions tour years ago? Well, now she's got Confessions 2. And that has set TikTok records. 2.1 million global viewers for Confessions 2. The most ever for a standalone artist event on TikTok. Wow.
What's going on? I just saw on the news that you're thinking about leaving. What happened?
I'm thinking about leaving the hot Café Anyway in just a few minutes, getting out of here because it is hot. It's cooler outside. But it is interesting. I remember, what was that Super Bowl that Madonna was on with MIA? And that was probably 2009, 2010, 2011. And I remember my ex-wife, she has a cousin, and at the time the cousin was probably in her 20s. And I remember her saying such slop against Madonna.
I want to weaponize my pronouns. What are pronouns?
She was weaponizing her pronouns, her nouns, everything. And it was just very, how dare you? I'm defending Madonna, but I was taken aback. Why do you hate Madonna so much? It seems odd, but as we go outside of Café Anyway, where we bring you Mike's Daily Podcast, somewhere in PodCastro Valley, the last place on earth in the land of Meritopica, broadcasting from Café Anyway. I know you can have your own opinion about things, but it seemed that visceral hatred I didn't know where that was coming from. At any rate, now not to say that, that cousin now would probably be in her early 40s.
Anyway.
Café Anyway, would she? Am I doing the math right? Carry the one. She was 20 in 2009, 30 in 2019. So she could possibly be in her 40s. She's not on TikTok, I'm thinking, because TikTok seems to be the Generation Alpha and the Gen Zers, etc. But Madonna did well on TikTok, so maybe the younger generations are like, hey, I'm going to give grandma a chance. She is a grandma. Doesn't she have kids that have kids? That's what I'm asking. Confessions 2 has drawn positive reviews and sold 134,000 units just in 1 week. Only female artists with 6 individual $100 million plus grossing tours can get to that level. I think that's what Rob Black is trying to say. He does not make sense. When he scribbles some notes down, I don't know what he's saying. But he hosts a podcast. I produce it for him. And he's heard on AM 1220 KDOW weekdays in the 5 p.m. hour, and he's on Cron TV Monday through Thursday in the 9 a.m. hour. But he also wrote down here that the Seattle Seahawks are being sold to the Khosla family, or is it Khosla? Including Vinod, I'm going to say Khosla, for $9.6 billion. Paul Allen purchased the Seattle Seahawks all the way back in 1997, almost 30 years ago, for $194 million. And right now I'm being abducted by Hal in a spaceship.
This is the Hal 9000.
How weird, I'm in a spaceship.
You are listening to Mike's Daily Podcast.
Hey, Hal.
Coming to you from Café Anyway.
I was telling an
PodCastro
interesting story about sports. Can you put me back?
I'm sorry, Mike.
Put me back on Earth.
I'm afraid I can't do that.
Just put me back on Earth, please.
I'm afraid I can't do that, Mike.
I want to be back on the planet Earth.
Mike.
Please.
Mike.
Well,
Mike.
That's my name. I guess the football team that has the highest worth is the Dallas Cowboys at $13 billion. Then there is the Seattle Seahawks at $9.6 billion, and then below that the 49ers with $8.6 billion. But it is interesting, Paul Allen purchased the Seattle Seahawks 30 years ago, just about, for just $194 million. I heard, what was the cost? The amount? Sean Connery got about $20 million, maybe $30 million to do the movie League of Extraordinary Gentlemen, which ended up being the last movie he ever did.
You can use your debit if it's easier. Don't worry, I will cross my eyes so I can't see your secret code.
I can't imagine Sean Connery ever used a debit card, but it was the last one he appeared in. I don't know if his voice was used in other movies afterwards, but that movie did not do well. They never made a sequel to it. Who knows? It could still happen. But it was a movie where they took all these public domain famous characters like Tom Sawyer, the Invisible Man, and Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde, and Dorian Gray, and threw them all in this movie, and it was interesting. I thought it was crazy fun. And I remember renting it. I rented that and Van Helsing. Little did I know that the same actor that played Dracula in Van Helsing played the villain Moriarty in League of Extraordinary Gentlemen. I watched both movies and had no idea until I just found out yesterday. Speaking of movies, Moana.
Who doesn't like cash cows?
Yeah, thanks, Rob, and interrupting me.
How do you do that?
I press a sound effect button.
I just said the word cash cow.
I press a sound effect button. It's not that difficult. Moana did not do well, even though it made $43 million with its U.S. opening, the live-action Moana. Worldwide, it had a $95 million worldwide opening. How does that mean that it misfired, that it didn't do well? The live-action version arrived in theaters less than 2 years. It was just 2 years. It's only been 2 years? Oh, after the Moana 2 movie came out, the $1 billion grossing animated hit Moana 2. So the film, however, cost... Oh, okay. So the movie made worldwide $95 million, but it cost $250 million.
There's a Spanish holiday tradition called El Gordo, the fat one.
The fat one is me sitting on the couch eating popcorn watching live action Moana. No. So it's not even made back half of what it cost to make it. It hasn't made back yet. So it cost $250 million to make, and that is before promotions are figured in. It looks like it's going to lose between $100 to $125 million. Wow. Why? Why on earth does Disney keep doing these live-action movies?
It was kind of scary.
They are scary. They don't make sense. They look creepy and weird and uncanny valley. I understand. Here we are sitting in 2026. Uncanny valley should not be a problem with computer-generated images and animation. Yet, it still is. I was watching one of my favorite music videos of all time, the Electric Light Orchestra with Calling America. And in it, there is a very bizarre, quick shot. It probably cost them thousands and thousands of dollars to make. But it's a quick computer-generated face. At the time, it was probably groundbreaking because it came out in 1986. Well, that looked very uncanny. What made it so odd-looking is it's uncanny valley. It looks like a stoned face that you just... It looks somewhat real, but then you see this, like, there's soulless eyes.
I need some turntables, Mike, if you're going to say it like that.
Soulless eyes. Somebody told me that there was a place like heaven. Cross the water on a 747. Yeah, we're living in a modern world. Calling America, can't get the message true. This is a travesty for what was teed up to be a summer tent pole, this Moana movie. The two Moana animated movies have sold 20...
I can't make this up.
Can't make this up. $22 million in toys. It has generated $26 million in music streams. People like the songs from it. And has clocked 1.5 billion hours watched on the Disney Plus platform. It's been a crowded, very crowded family July for family movies, including Minions and Monsters. And then there's Disney's own Toy Story 5 that has all been crammed into movie theaters, which I dare not go anywhere near, as we do go and hang out with this person outside a Café Anyway somewhere in Podcaster Valley. Hello, Mike Matthews. It's Chely Shoehart, the gift shop supervisor. I made a special snow globe in honor of the islands that Moana is about. Mike Matthews. Oh, yeah, look at that cool snow globe. And I'm not going to shake it because it might explode. Chely Shoehart and her exploding snow globes. Yeah, Mike Matthews, it explodes because it represents the volcanoes that go off on the islands, Mike Matthews. Oh, how beautiful. Hey, this gives me some hope. There's this thing being talked about called the slopification of YouTube. So many of the videos are generated by AI voiced. So you're not even listening to a human do the documentary or whatever. And then there are all these podcasts, audio-only podcasts that are being produced that are completely AI generated. Now, there's fresh research saying that every independent podcaster should realize this, and I am an independent podcaster. A new clutch... Oh, speaking of podcasters, here's one podcaster now talking. Guy.
That's what seems to be happening. The whole podcast industrial complex is now... Everyone's crazy about video.
No!
And you know what they're doing? They're doing a horrible disservice to podcasting.
Podcasting should be audio. I mean, it's something you should be able to do while gardening. You can't watch a video while gardening.
And I hope you're doing gardening now while you're listening to this podcast. But this new Clutch survey that was recently published found that a little less than half of podcast listeners would outright reject an artificial intelligence hosted podcast. Even as nearly half of those same respondents expect to listen to more podcasts in the future. Maybe they should try and listen to Mike's Daily Podcast. The research is clear about what is actually driving podcast influence right now, and that is authenticity. I hope I'm being authentic with you. That is from the folks at Podcast Tonight. An inauthentic endorsement, whether from AI or from hosts who don't generally believe what they're saying, it erodes listener trust faster than almost anything else. So, there you go. I hope you realize when you are listening to a podcast that is being generated by AI.
That's enough. Put down the mic.
And that you run away from it. You put down the app. You close the app, or you close that particular podcast and find one with a real person that's talking, that's... And another thing they say, something significant has been quietly reshaping the way the best podcast shows operate, and most independent podcasters haven't fully caught up with it yet. It's a shift in how content itself is being thought about at the industry level. And that is podcast listeners spend about 7 hours per week with their favorite shows. And 86.1% of people now listen to podcasts on their mobile phones. So just about all of podcast listeners are listening on their phones. So if you're listening on your phone right now, hey, I think your mom's trying to call you.
Why do your toenails look like that?
And your kid's trying to ask you that question, that why your toenails look like that. Look who else is here.
Hello, Mike. This is Floyd the Floorman.
And this is John Deere, the engineer. Yes, podcasts are amazing. And I think that everybody should try and listen to a podcast and tell their friends about that. and about how great I am and that I am an awesome engineer. You can put things together that are broken because you're an engineer. Actually, Mike, that's a mechanic. What? Yeah, mechanics put things that are broken back together. All right. I don't know. I might be ignorant.
We owe you because we learn from you. We learn from you, by example, how to do a show with intention, how to work with clarity, how to treat people with respect.
I try very hard.
You're infuriatingly good at your job.
What?
Okay.
Stop it. You know, speaking of ignorance, there's a guy named Seth Leibson. He wrote something interesting. Talking politics with your average young male these days, chances are you will hear all kinds of odd theories coming from the Pied Pipers. And speaking of podcasts, the Pied Pipers of Podcastistan. I much like to, but rather hang out in Maritopica than Podcastistan or Podcastro Valley. I am hanging out in Podcastro Valley. Forget about Podcastistan. But Seth says you will hear them mentioning experts, quote unquote, that nobody heard of until about 10 minutes ago, or until they were discovered
Baby shark by
baby sharks. I can't help but dance when I hear that, and then I weep. Or until they were discovered by podcasters because of their contrary and often conspiratorial thinking. That's the cream that rises to the top. Or shall we say the foamy ick that rises to the top. The sludge. Young men especially are attracted to this novel quote-unquote wisdom. And they are so prone because they will tell you that mainstream institutions have been untruthful over the years. But because some institutions that we use and that we used to rely on and respect have been taken over by partisanship and have been wrong, it doesn't mean that all normative thinking and scholarship is a lie, or it cannot be trusted, or that people nobody have ever heard of are the replacements of true wisdom. Where did this guy come from? We dismiss and ignore.
That's good stuff.
Wow!
I don't like that sound effect. That's the one I don't like. That's better.
Good for you. We dismiss and ignore this fallacious thinking at our collective peril. The task of the serious is to be able to discern truth from fiction. This is so difficult to do in today's world. With the media and the podcasts, and we have so much media. We can access the news anytime we want. It's too much. It's a paralysis of analysis. There's too much options. Too much. It's walking into a supermarket. You have too many choices. Pet Shop Boys, 1986. Too many choices. Which, why, what? How much have you got? The West End Girls. He mentioned something about too many choices. That's the thing with our media today. And who's telling the truth and who's got an agenda? Well, these are things we have to think about. We have to discern.
Yes, love it.
Discern truth from fiction and greatness from mediocrity. In these critical times, that task has never been more important than now, says Seth Leibson. Something to think about as we end this show. What do you think about that? And if you can call me, I've got the number for you.
I'm calling about
here's someone calling.
Tennis lessons for my grandson, age 13.
Oh, okay. You're calling for tennis lessons. I'd like to know how to play tennis myself. I took lessons, I think, when I was age 13, too. And that was basically the tennis teachers, the tennis instructors, whatever you call them, were just these young teenagers, but a little bit older than me, that were just spending the time making money. I think it was at the YMCA. They were paying them at the YMCA, and then they were just hanging out there. Mike, do you want to play tennis? Well, I mean, we don't have to play tennis. I mean, we could teach you how to play tennis, but we could also just, hang out. Well, we didn't have cell phones to play on back then, so I don't know what we were doing. I think we were just talking. That's weird. I should have been playing tennis. This is what There's so many problems with the world that I don't need to fix it, but I think in our own ways we can help collectively fix the world a little, or make it a little bit better, or fix some of the things that we can fix. Is that what I'm trying to say? We're all mechanics, basically?
When I grow up, I want to be obsessed with emotional safety and do workplace sensitivity training all day long.
When I grow up, I hope I can help fix the world, is all I'm saying. What do you think about all that? Here's the number to call.
Call Mike at the Café Anyway hotline. Area code 510-228-4640.
He's a showboat. He's a grandstander.
And with all things having to do with Mike's Daily Podcast, we go to the mainframe and hear from A-Frame. Thank you for listening to Mike's Daily Podcast.
Mike's Daily Podcast is written and produced and performed by Mike Matthews. His podcast is super easy to find. Download or listen to his show and read his blog at mikesdailypodcast.com. Email Mike now at mikesdailypodcast@gmail.com. See you tomorrow. Bye.